We are live Thursday evening and we're here to chat about hobby related things. Greg, Eric,
Yep, here
Hey,
we are.
how's everyone doing? Anything new and exciting?
Oh,
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I wouldn't. There's not a whole lot going on here. I feel maybe one of the more exciting things. Maybe a week or two ago, I noticed in one of the trees by where the apartment I live in, there's a pair of red-tailed hawks that have two little baby hawks that they're caring for.
that's
Um,
cute.
we had first noticed them last year. They had two baby hawks, and this year they have two new baby hawks. And so we've been passingly watching them over the past few days. The
hmm
baby hawks are now moving around a little bit more, and you can tell they're beginning to flap their wings and such. So they're getting ready to fly and whatnot. So yeah, that's probably the most exciting thing here. And I guess also in the United States, around this time, around Mother's Day in America, that's a big birding migration time. And there are a lot of different warblers around, so been looking around to see if I can see and identify any new warblers.
That's the thing about warblers. They all look basically the same, or they're very similar looking with like maybe some slight color variations.
Oh yeah, so what's interesting, yeah, they're all tiny little songbirds, and just about all of them are very brightly colored. Um, but they are most of them are relatively distinct from one another. Um, even though they're like typically brightly colored. Um, this yesterday I saw what is apparently a bay-breasted warbler, and they are kind of a black and white warbler that has a few patches of kind of a rusty red on them, relatively distinct. So I don't know. Yeah, I've been looking for warblers. They're fun. A lot of them are high up in the tops of trees and such, so them being small birds, they're kind of hard to find and see. But they're
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so amongst the warblers and the hawks, that's probably the most exciting thing
A
happening on
friend
my
of
end.
a friend of mine, in one of their neighbors' house, they found a baby starling, and
Mm-hmm.
they've been caring for that baby starling. Sometime over the weekend, they took the baby starling to a Cracker Barrel in their camera case.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So have both of you heard how starlings how they came to America?
No.
I may have heard this and I don't remember it.
So I guess I didn't look into this too heavily, but what I've heard is some people from Europe or yeah, some people from I guess United Kingdom decided that it would be a good idea if they took every bird that Shakespeare mentioned in his writings and plays and stuff and brought them to America.
Yeah, I think I
Huh.
did hear that.
It's pretty
And
weird.
the starling they took very well to America.
Okay.
And so like now they're
That's
just
so
fuck
stupid.
tons of them. So yeah, it's a pretty stupid reason to have brought them over here. I'm not sure. So I assume there are a whole bunch of other birds that were brought over, and I don't know how many of them actually.
Wikipedia, the European starling was purposely introduced to North America in the 1870s through the 1890s by multiple acclimatization societies, organizations dedicated to introducing European flora and fauna into the United States for cultural and economic reasons. Like, what the fuck? There were organizations that were dedicated to bringing European animals and plant.
It's fucking stupid. Well, I guess that just comes down to the hubris of humanity. It's like, oh, we know better. We can control the weather. We don't. Let's prevent all the forest fires. Let's like, yeah. So it just seems like
Yeah.
that notion.
It does.
But yeah, so the starlings, they're here in America because of that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Amazing.
Oh, I guess also yesterday, I saw an osprey, or I heard an osprey catch a fish in like a little stream near where I live, and then I watched it fly off with the fish. That was
Incredible.
kind of neat. Yeah. So yeah, and I guess aside from birding, I've been doing a little bit of painting. I know in some earlier streams I showed that old Rattling Sniper that Eric had stripped the paint off of, and I modified a little bit. Also, I guess I've been off and on this month. I've been working on painting the model, and it's slowly progressing. I feel it's been an interesting model to paint. How small some of the things are, and
Yeah.
a lot of the details, and almost every part of the model, there's so little of it that almost tricky to paint. Like they have a skirted flak jacket that so much of it's hidden here and there that yeah, it's just been kind of a challenge. I guess though, since a lot of the things are so small, in some regards, it's been sort of refreshing. You can spend a whole lot of time on just one small area trying to sort of perfect it, per se. So that's been interesting. I know this model, I was sort of excited that a lot of the model's face was hidden because the rifle, they were shouldering the rifle. And I guess I think that still is true, but in some regards it's also a challenge because the areas of the face that you can see, they're kind of all hidden a little more. And so I've been struggling with that a little bit, I feel. But overall, I think it's been progressing well. The model also, here they're on just a makeshift base that is sort of I tried to paint it in a green color reminiscent of Goblin Green, but I'll admit I don't even quite remember what Goblin Green looked like anymore, other than it
Yeah.
was a light, bright green.
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess I'm of two minds. Right now, the rim of the base is just painted black because I feel that looks. I think in general that looks nicer, but I guess
Yeah.
maybe for this, it's not really about looking nice.
Yeah, I feel it's not about looking nice.
So I think I'll probably paint the rim green as well. And then I guess all that being said, the model's pinned to this base, and I'm not going to glue it to the base. I already have another base for them, which I will slot them on eventually.
Yeah, I would just paint it all goblin green. It's not like really something you want. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna keep it on that. It's just
Yeah, so I don't know. It's been a kind of a fun process, and I'm happy to revisit the model. So that was sort of one of the formative models in our whole gaming experience and model experience. I guess one question for both of you. On his helmet, above his eyes, what do we think that is? Do we think that's a visor or something? And if it is a visor, it doesn't look like it could be shifted down or anything.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, like initially I was thinking I would paint it like a visor, but
I imagined it was a visor, but now that I think about it and look at it, it doesn't really look like.
I
Yeah,
almost wish I had sculpted something on it or something to imply that it could. Guess it doesn't matter.
I mean, you could probably just paint it as like another piece of metal or whatever, just like it's a reinforced.
Yeah.
I would almost be inclined to do that.
I feel that probably makes a little more sense because if it is a visor, I don't. Because it's not like there's a swivel to swivel it up or down or anything like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel I feel for a lot of these older models, a lot of them have weird, interesting details that sometimes it's a little hard to make sense of what
Yeah,
they were actually intended to be. And I guess honestly this model is better than most. There's not a whole lot of that, but I would say yeah, that little visor helmet thing. I feel you could do a whole lot of things with it, but I almost feel yeah, painting it as a separate different piece from whatever color the main helmet is would probably work.
yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I found some pictures of some of those old Ratling snipers, which they seem like they were designed by Alan Perry. Some of them have like sunglasses, and it looks like there was a version of that one there that has a hat that obviously has sunglasses, but this one doesn't look like that.
Yeah, I guess honestly it probably doesn't matter. I could also see painting it as like some other piece of metal or something, and then you could paint like little fun graffiti or something on it. Kind of
Yeah.
like the Rogue Trader models would always have.
From pictures I've been seeing of other people painting that model, which admittedly are not many, they consider it part of the helmet.
Okay.
So I would just make it a part of the helmet. And not. So that'll first of all probably make it a little bit easier and
Yeah.
Makes more sense.
Well, so that's another thing. So on the bottom of the rifle, there's kind of like a weird, like ribbed area that's currently just black on this model. Like, that's just greebling for the sake of greebling, right? Is that?
yes.
I think so.
That's
Unless
a piece of
it's
wood.
supposed to be like a heat dissipation unit or something on a las rifle or something.
I suspect that's like a gripped area to Like nothing more than that.
Yeah, so I'll either just also paint that silver, or just highlight it to be like a black polymer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. I'll do something with it, and no one will consider it,
Yeah.
and that's
No
fine.
one at all.
I was sort of considering maybe for his helmet, maybe make the helmet black with like a red stripe or something down it. I don't know. Because he already has kind of like a little red cloak on his shoulder. So I think making the helmet completely red would not would be weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I will just paint it black. And the red stripe or something I think would be fitting. I don't know, we'll see. I will continue working on it, and hopefully by the next stream we do, the model will be much closer to completion.
Yeah, I've been meaning to start painting the one Eldar Ranger and just haven't been feeling it. And now the
Yeah,
month is over half over and
I get that. I feel for this model,
haven't done
I had
anything.
I had started painting it and I sort of was getting into a groove with it, but then life things came up, other responsibilities, and then I didn't paint for probably a week or something, and now it's like, God, I have to get back into this,
Yeah.
and I think for some of these models, like a model like this, I don't feel I don't have a super clear vision of what colors
Uh-huh.
everything should be, so it's easy to convince myself not to actually work
Yeah, I
on the
can get
model.
that.
But yeah. And I could see that being even like doubly true for that little Eldar Ranger model, Eric, you were considering working on. Because that's
Yeah.
something that there are so many different potential interesting and crazy options that you could do for a scheme. And the model also kind of has a lot of flat open areas on cloaks and stuff like that I feel you could
Yeah, there
convince
really is some
yourself.
detail there.
Yeah, I feel you could convince yourself that you could spend a lot of time like adding patterns and
Mm-hmm.
other stuff.
Yeah, no, it's true. Whether or not I'll actually do that, it's just
Yeah.
a lot of stuff I could be doing, and then
Will you sometime, Eric, send me a picture of the model, and I will consider it a little bit and see if I can come up with
yeah,
ideas. Yeah. So I guess that's what I've been working on. Don't don't even know. In terms of the Warhammer community site, I really haven't been paying too much attention to what's going on. I know that
Holy shit, Eric, you just posted a link with some old Rattling snipers, and the old Rattling sniper with a bolt pistol, I have never seen that model.
yeah, no,
well, you, Greg, I think you had found a blister of Rattling snipers on eBay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be vaguely interested to buy them. So
Looks like it's the ones that we had.
that's what I thought. They look very similar. Is that the
Yeah.
one with the bolt pistol that seems like the one you'd really want. Because that's different and interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on the community side, was it this yesterday or this past Sunday? Did they put that new Kill Team thing up for pre-order? Or is it this coming
I
weekend?
think it's this Saturday. It's going up for pre-order.
Okay. So that I guess is sort of interesting. I think they've been showing some rules and other stuff for that release. I feel I'm vaguely interested in it, but I'm not interested in essentially almost all of the models in the set, so just wait for that stuff to be released later.
Yeah, I feel the issue to me is it looks like there's no terrain in it. So, because, depending on cost and such, I could see like the rules being semi-intriguing because maybe it'd be good for Inc. 28 type stuff. So that could be intriguing, and the Inquisition models are intriguing.
Hmm.
And if there was a nice assortment of terrain, it'd be like, yeah, I'll buy it because I don't really care about the other models. But as it is, it's just a ton of models that you don't want, and no, you know what I
Or that,
mean?
yeah, or also models that maybe you already have a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I mean, depending on where you are and things, like it could be all right, but for us, I would much rather just wait until they're released and then.
Yeah.
Guys, I found an eBay listing with that rattling with the bolt pistol.
Whoa.
Finally.
Not even expensive. It's like $15 for him with another one.
They're
Whoa.
not Space Marines, no one cares.
That's also the other rattling that comes with. That's the variant model of the one that I'm painting that has the backwards baseball hat.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, so we don't actually have that one.
Yeah, so we should get those.
As a matter of
From
fact,
South Carolina.
is the little dude with the bolt pistol, is that the one that Erie used as a conversion for his
Oh,
spiky rat pack? Like,
I think you're right. Huh.
it was something like that.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, wow. $15 for those two models. People just didn't care. People just don't care.
It
Yeah.
kind of seems like that little one would be a good one for the Red Church, like to have two little halfling-like dudes.
Yeah. We can do that. Seems like a good plan. I don't even know. I might not even have to do much with the model.
Yeah, I feel you probably don't.
Just change the
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
Because obviously, the one that I'm working on now, I modified both of the feet heavily. Don't need to see their hairy feet.
Nope, no one does. No one does.
Yeah, wow, is there anything interesting on the community side?
I mean, I guess they have some rules, like kill team rules for the Inquisition agents, I think, but with the fact that I don't really remember the rules for kill team and such,
Who does?
it
Like, who
that
cares?
is somewhat hard.
I guess
Like,
they did show some more pictures of the push fit plastic terminators, I think, right?
I think so, and maybe even the sprues.
Oh yeah, here the sprues are. And they have some additional some that have been painted in other schemes. And I think they mostly look pretty good. They're certainly push fit. Each model comes in a series of different parts. And I think overall it's pretty good. I think a lot of the poses, because they're push fit, are a little better than what you would have come up with if they were more multi-posed and multi-parted, which, so in that sense, I feel I prefer that. The Storm Bolters they have, I feel are just a big miss. I would be very interested to compare them to the old plastic Storm Bolters, and I imagine they're bigger, right? Oh, here they even have a comparison.
Like,
so they look bigger.
Substantially bigger.
So that, I feel, is a huge fail. By making them larger, it doesn't add anything. I feel in this sense it just takes something away, because yeah, they just look really clumsy with them. Though it's certainly these newer ones are certainly sculpted. Maybe not sculpted, but they're certainly cast a lot better. Like in the picture in the post, they have one of the old plastic Terminators, and whoever assembled and painted this model, I would like to say whoever assembled it, they really did a poor job drilling the barrel holes in the Storm Bolter.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's almost as though they want, like, or I feel they specifically chose this model for the comparison photo just to be like, these models are better. I mean, I guess the pose is slightly similar to the other
It's
one,
kind of similar, yeah.
but not really.
It's a great way to show and really emphasize how the leg poses, like I feel like the leg poses of almost all of those old plastic Terminators were ludicrously bad. Like,
Yeah, no,
oof,
it's so bad.
they're very bad. It's interesting to see what I believe is to be the sergeant. Sergeant is standing on like a big rock slate piece. And that's something that I really question. Why did they do that?
Why did they do that?
Like, overall it looks fine, but it really limits what you can do with them. Or maybe I wouldn't say limits, but it just makes it harder to use them how you want to use them. Because it's interesting, in pretty much every single picture that they show the Terminators fighting or doing something, they're all in like a Space Hulk tech environment, which none of their bases agree with. So it's kind of a weird choice, honestly.
I'm particularly interested in seeing what the more multi-part Terminator release looks like. Do you think their poses will be worse?
Are going to be worse, guaranteed.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Oh god. So if you look, the one with the assault cannon, they for some reason thought it would be cool if they sculpted a little pile of spent brass casings for the assault cannon that you can glue onto the base.
That's so dumb.
And yeah, it's like a separate little piece that you can glue on the base. I think it looks
bad.
it looks awful. It looks awful.
Bad.
So I would implore anyone who gets these and assembles them, please, please do not
Restraint.
use that.
Yeah. Use restraint.
Yeah, and I feel you would probably do well to replace their storm bolters with the older plastic storm bolters, which were not cast or formed very well, but they're at least smaller. Yeah. I think overall they look nice.
Yeah, I think they look pretty good. But it still sort of seems like it would make sense just to wait until we see what the more multi-part kit is like and
Yeah,
make
certainly.
a deduction as to
If they're anything
which
like the multi-part normal Primaris Space Marines, it's gonna be a bad kit.
yeah.
But who knows? We
Yeah.
can be hopeful. Hope is a mistake.
That's from Mad Max, right? The new
Yeah.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
Fury Road.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
There's a comparison with the Screamer Killers. It's like the old Screamer Killer was still the best.
Oh, I found it. Oh, because the Screamer Killer / Carnifex models, they have had a wild ride.
They went from
Fucking wild.
awesome to then like the one rendition of it was so terrible.
The classic Screamer Killer
Two
is amazing.
horrible.
The metal one, the second metal one,
God awful.
horrendously bad. The
The
third plastic one
excellent.
is very good.
Yeah.
And this new one,
It's good.
yeah, it doesn't have any of the coolness of the original though.
Yeah, I think the original and the third one they are both excellent.
Yeah.
And 4 isn't terrible. It's I think it's good. 2 is just bad. That's bad.
2 is like getting on the level of Nagash or whatever the old metal sculpt. Probably even worse than that. Like if you look at all of these, the first one is still the creepiest and the weirdest. It's oof. Yeah, they don't even compare, honestly.
I feel like the first one is the weirdest, and I don't know that it fits as well with like the rest of the Tyranid range. Whereas when they redesigned it for the third one, that fits with the rest of the Tyranid stuff.
Like the classic Screamer Killer.
The classic one fit better with the old wonky warrior design.
And also, like, all the old Termagants and whatnot, like, the hooved, weird feet looked a lot more like this back then. Gosh.
Did any of you ever see Princess Mononoke in theaters?
I never did.
No.
I think now I've seen it 4 times in theaters.
Holy shit, Greg.
I've seen it a lot.
It's a good film. I'd like to watch it again. It's been a long time.
I've seen it. At least one of those times was subtitled,
Okay, that's good.
but the dub, I guess I've seen a bunch of times, and it's pretty good because they
Yeah.
have a bunch of well-known people doing the voices. Like Gillian Anderson is
Mm-hmm.
the Mother Wolf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy Bob Thornton's in there.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of
Fat man.
the
Or
fat priest.
Rotund.
Yeah, priest slash monk dude. That's
I feel the voice never
the
really seemed to
leader.
fit.
Yeah, the leader of a group of riflemen and trying to get the head of the spirit of the forest for the
Mhm.
emperor because it's rumored it'll give him everlasting life. Yeah, that's a good movie.
That is a good movie. Are people excited to take part in the organized Warhammer Underworld play at the different stores?
I've been calling around trying to find
I mean, look at this sick
places where
trophy
it
you can
is.
win. You're getting your warband ready, Eric.
Oh yeah.
I do feel it's kind of fun that they're actually
Yeah,
trying to
it's
support
good.
that.
They have what looks like maybe you can win little acrylic counters and stuff. Like that's cool.
Mhm.
Hopefully that means it's played and liked. Because I could see like they put all this effort into trying to make it be a thing, and then like ultimately nobody cares, and then they never do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine like they have at the end of this a thing where you can find the participating stores. I would sort of imagine there are at least a few stores across say the United States that for whatever reason Warhammer Underworlds is one of the big games that is played there because I sort of feel the the focus of each store is a little different. So
I
I
mean,
would
because
like
all
to
the
think,
times that I played Underworlds, I like quite liked it.
yeah, me too. Well, I think I've only played it once, but I thought it
I think
seemed
it's pretty
good.
fun.
I played it more than once, but I think it was all with the original, whatever the original Underworld sets were called.
Yeah,
Yeah, I played it a few times and I think it's good. I think it's one of those things though that it maybe could get a little tiresome if you come back into it and like, oh, I should
All
really
these
buy all this
cards that
shit
you should get.
because there are more cards and most of the cards don't matter, but there are a couple that are quite good.
yeah, that like you need in every deck or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that in the same bin, like the X-Wing game, I think is great, but I don't have a desire to try to dredge or like wade back into that with all those ships and all those
Yeah.
cards and like God, seems like a little much.
So they actually have pictures of the plastic sprues for at least most of the Inquisitor agents. Um, they look. The stuff looks pretty good. The Servitor actually has 3 different gun options, which is cool.
Actually having options is weird.
Yeah, I mean, none of them look that good, like, but it's nice that they give you those options. Um,
I don't like the melt cannon or this heavy bolter at all. What's the other thing? A
I don't.
plasma something?
I
Yeah.
forget what that's called.
That looks the
I
best,
think it's just a plasma
albeit
cannon. It looks kind
still
of
kind
like
of
one of
dumb.
the Scutari ones that they're slightly different, but
They all look terrible. They're way too big. But
Yeah.
that's just what it is. Yeah, I mean they look good. I will say doesn't you aren't given a ton of options on how to build the different models, which I feel is
Yeah.
fine. But
The notion that there were any options
yeah, I mean is
seems
sort of
weird to
impressive.
me.
The Pistolier, they have their backpack is not actually a backpack at all. It's just the holsters for their two oversized pistols.
Yeah, I feel that at least it's not attached.
Yeah, that it's good it's not attached, but I feel that's a kind of a
And
good representation how
yeah,
oversized the stuff
ridiculous.
is.
$100%, yeah.
Yeah, the stuff looks pretty good. Oof. They have like a larger picture of the servitor with, I'm just gonna say it's a plasma cannon, and just how they're cast. They didn't even try to fill in the gaps between the two halves and the barrel of the plasma weapon, and it looks rough.
Yeah.
Mind you, to fix that would be kind of a pain. But they didn't even try. And I respect that for sticking to it. It's like, it's fine. Whatever. I don't have to care about that. Yeah, that's actually interesting. So in this kill team thing, oh, I guess the interrogator is the one with the auto pistol on the book.
Okay.
And the eye patch, I guess. Huh.
What's the plasma pistol person? What do they call that?
A pistolier, Eric.
Hmm.
Yeah.
The interrogator looks pretty bad, primarily just because of the gigantic pistol.
Yeah. I think the model would look much better if you just cut down the size of the pistol by 2/3 or something. The Enlightener, that's the one with the two blades. They look quite good, I would say. But both the Enlightener and the Interrogator are made from the same model, it looks like.
You're right.
Just like how the Pistoler and the Quest Keeper are made from the same model as well.
Quest Keeper, so cool.
What a name. What a name. Fucking sick.
Exorcist.
Well, holy fuck, the shotgun dude and the one holding the standard, are they from the same model too?
They
They
are,
both have
yeah.
that skull hanging?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they do.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Huh. You'd think like they could at least like remove the hanging skull from one of them, just to like say like, yeah, guys, we are trying to make them different. Like, believe
Just
us,
a little
guys.
honest, believe us. And well, the reason they
Yeah.
didn't is because that skull isn't easily removed.
Oh yeah, it isn't. Huh.
Yeah. So that sort of sucks.
I will say though, with a lot of those models, I think they managed to make them look pretty different,
They did.
despite
Yeah. Sharing bodies and other components.
yeah. I think the one with the shotgun is one of the more interesting ones
Yeah, I think it's one of the better.
and captures some of the fanaticism and craziness of maybe some inquisitorial henchmen better than most of the other ones.
Yeah. I agree.
I
I
think the
agree.
Death World veteran still, he's my favorite. He's the best.
I wish he wasn't perching his leg on that rock, but aside from
Mm.
that,
There are. It's
I
pretty
still
cool.
feel like you could put him on, like, grind that rock off and put him on some
yeah.
XX
I mean,
style
they
page.
look nice. And I think for the most part, they do a pretty good job of making several very distinct looking models while sharing a lot of the same components.
Yeah.
So overall, pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's
Of the ones that make multiple ones, like the Enlightener is better than the Interrogator.
Yeah,
Sergeant Stone's better than the other one. None of the Pistolier or the Quest Keeper are both not very cool.
I agree.
I almost feel like
I
one of the
think the
reasons
Quest
why
Keeper is interesting in how, like, wonky and dumb it looks. Like, they didn't try to make it look less dumb, and there's almost something appealing about that.
His
I
foot
feel
is huge.
the Pistolier, I think, to me, what really sinks the model for some reason are the rounds of ammunition on their like bandolier type thing.
It's
I
on the
just hate
Quest
that.
Keeper too.
I hate that.
Yeah, I hate it too.
I-
Having the hair, emo hair, underneath the hood.
They're trying to be like one of the. It might even be one of the old Wood Elf heads, slightly modified. Because that's roughly the same thing. Yeah. Okay. Well, overall, they're pretty good. Hopefully, they release them separately eventually, and
Mm-hmm. That would be good.
yeah.
Perhaps we want to call this because I know Adam, you have to get up early, and like
I think we can. We said
like
what
to
we
go to
needed
bed
to.
too.
Yeah.
I think the stream we had more to say than I expected, though. That one some of those models are good that you're scrolling through. The one werewolf vampire stuff.
Yeah, no,
Good.
they're quite good. I feel I could consider buying some of these and trying to do something with them. They're good.
Yeah, I like them.
Well, yeah, so I think we can call the stream to a close. Thanks everyone for listening to us. Stay safe, stay healthy. Keep on enjoying the hobby. If you're in the United States, try and get out there and watch some birds. Try and find some warblers.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Until next time. Over and out.
Yep. Talk to y'all later.